Visually Handicapped Scholarship Awards 2013. Guest speaker, Karen Arcos.
My name is Karen Arcos, and I graduated from John Marshall High School 2 years ago in 2011. So I was in your shoes 2 years ago, roughly. I graduated from their School for Advanced Studies Small Learning Community at Marshall. And through that, I then transitioned into attending the University of Southern California, where I just completed my sophomore year. I am majoring in psychology and recently declared a minor in Spanish. But really, the transition from high school to university to college work, it was difficult. Anyone, whether you're blind or sighted, you're asking yourself the same questions. What's it going to be like? Am I going to live on my own? Am I going to commute to school? What's the course load going to be like? How am I going to get my accommodations? Who do I need to ask for the help? Where do I turn to? And this is what I had to go through, either asking my Department of Rehabilitation counselor for assistance, or asking the Disability Services and Programs Office for assistance. But ultimately, I am now living on campus in an on-campus apartment. I've been living there for the past 2 years, and I'll be living at the same building again next year. And I mean, being a college student, it's taught me a lot about myself in terms of, well, how am I as a person? Am I a neat person? Am I organized? Am I messy? Who do I want to live with? In terms of roommates, when you start living with a person who you've never met before, that really is eye-opening in the sense that you have to learn to cooperate with other people, to learn about yourself. Where am I going to get my next meal? Am I going to cook? Am I going to the dining hall to get food? These are the questions that go through a freshman's head even later on, just meeting basic needs. But the biggest thing that I've really learned from being in college now for 2 years, halfway through undergrad, is to ask for help in and out of the classroom. Because whether or not you can see, we're going to need help. Whether it be finding your way around campus when you're lost. I have a really interesting story about that. For example, it was my freshman year, 2 days into school, and I had to get to a building on the other side of campus from where I lived. It was an 8 a.m. class on a Tuesday. I'm leaving at like 7, what time? Maybe around 7:20, 7:30, just to give myself enough time to get there. And I had practiced the route with my orientation and mobility instructor. But, of course, I ended up veering off campus onto Exposition Boulevard, which is a really large street, and lots of cars, lots of volume, lots of traffic, and I'm just, oh my god, I have to get to class, and didn't know what to do until a lady from the Department of Public Safety walks up to me, and, well, she asked, do you need help? Like, are you trying to get somewhere? And I let her know where I was going. She didn't walk me to class. She asked a person from the Department of Public Safety to come and drive me to class.
Wow.
And the reason she did this was because her parents are deaf. So she knew what it was like to provide the help and to ask for the help because of how she was raised. And that one instance of asking for help, I mean, I have plenty more, but that's the one that really sticks with me. Because of, her kindness just coming up to me. It was really embarrassing even thinking about it now, but I mean, ultimately that's what we have to do. And really, I'm here today not to be speaking about me all the way through. It's to speak and motivate all of you. Because we all imagine being successful in any given area. As an anonymous person put it, we are limited not by our abilities, but by our vision. We all have a purpose to achieve in this world, and whether or not we have found it is irrelevant. It is critical, however, that all of us devise a strategy to discover our role in the industrialized world. Why? Because lacking such a framework will be costly later on. Whether your goal is to go to an independent living skills center to improve on independence and living on your own, or whether it be going to a community college and transferring, whether it be going to a four-year university straight out. These are all questions that you have to begin thinking about. What do you plan to do with your future? So that's the question that I pose to all the graduates today. What do you expect out of yourself? Where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years from now? And furthermore, what do others expect of you? We all have many, I call them stereotypes that you can probably bring back about what society considers for the blind. Oh, you can't read. How are you going to get around? You can't use public transit. It's all these nods. But ultimately, it's up to us to show the public what we are capable of doing. And in terms of myself, at least, I plan to continue in my career. You don't have to have a solid plan. I certainly don't know where I see myself working, but I'm trying to take the steps to explore and find the career for me. But I ultimately want to be able to contribute to society and give back. So being involved socially, having both friends who are blind and friends who are sighted, being involved economically, so providing for myself, being able to earn money and fend for myself, and finally being involved politically, maybe not as a politician, but voting. How many of us know of services that are provided by the government or by private entities, and we're always talking about these services or explaining how we'd like them to improve, but so many people do not vote. Just in the recent election for mayor here in LA, we had, I think it was the lowest voter turnout in history, I believe, or recently. So that just goes to show, being blind, I've had to vote too, and I'm not going to say it's easy. At first, during the presidential election, we couldn't get the machine to work. The automated machine. But it's up to us to vote so that the government knows what we would like and takes our suggestions. It's like they say, we the people have to take it onto ourselves to keep the process going. We're the future. And really, it's just continuing to educate myself, continuing to educate those around me, and same to all of you. And really what comes with education is the ability to advocate for yourself, to speak up, whether you think something is right or whether you think there needs to be improvement. But in order to be able to advocate, it's a question of taking advantage of the resources that are around you, regardless of what your goal may be, whether it's school or independent living. There's resources out there to help you, but it's up to you to find them. If you're at school, there's offices of financial aid, of admissions, of the Career Center has helped me a lot to be able to develop as a person. And it's, asking, again, speak up. There's extracurricular activities. How do you meet new people? How do you learn to organize? It's networking, meeting not only peers, but adults, professors, possible employers. All of this comes with asking and advocating. If it's independent living, how are you going to learn to cook? How are you going to learn to clean? Continuing orientation and mobility training. Braille, if that's your area, then okay, there's the resource. But it's not just finding the resource, but making the most out of where you plan to take yourself. And another suggestion I really take to heart for myself is giving back to the community where you come from. Because at least for me, my parents, my family, staff here, it takes a village to raise a child. It's kind of a corny statement, but really, I mean, it's true. So many people contribute to one person, and who's going to help others? I mean, only we can. There's a great example. I'm sure many of you have heard about what's happening at Francis Blend School right now. The possible closure of the school, and what we as people can do about it is writing letters, advocating, letting the district know how we feel about the issue. It's the Visually Handicapped Scholarship Fund. What am I doing up here? Speaking to all of you after the invite, and I do it so that others can learn, and I can learn from others along the way. It's a mutual gain. And, I mean, if you're not sure how you'd like to give back, it's looking at the community around you, seeing where you think that improvement needs to happen, and coming up with solutions, not just, oh, school is crazy, we don't have material, oh, I don't know, the bus transportation is too slow, it's inefficient. It's not just complaining about the problems, but it's doing something about it. And one of the things that I've done now, many of you may have heard about the support group that four visually impaired friends and I started called Survive or Thrive. We started this support group, Survive or Thrive, or SOT for short. We started it in March of last year, 2012, in order to help visually impaired students from ranging from middle school through high school age, to develop their advocacy skills, like I'm saying up here, to develop their independence, to develop as people. And we have different events that we host in order to achieve these goals. We have formal workshops twice a year. We're having our next one in about a month. There's flyers being distributed about it now, so I really encourage any of you who are interested to attend. It's going to be in June. And we also have informal events such as a yearly picnic that we've hosted for families to get to know each other. So again, it's connecting all the networking skills that I've said. It's finding a way of bringing people together, because really, once I got to school, I'm only one of two students who are visually impaired at USC. So really keeping in touch with my friends who have a visual impairment has been really important to me, to have people who I can relate to, while also making sighted friends along the way. And so really, I mean, the moral of the story with Survive or Thrive is identify the problem and act in order to make a solution happen. Also, I really encourage all of you to work hard in finding and accomplishing whatever your life goal may be. Because ultimately, who knows you better than you? We do. I mean, parents do. It's coming together with parents, with family, with friends. I keep repeating myself, but really, I mean, that's who you have to rely on. You have so many people around you who are willing to help. But really, in the end, anyone can tell you and give you as much advice as they would like, but it's only up to you as a person. Only you can shape your future. So I encourage you to take advantage of all that there is to offer and to tread your path proudly and surely, now and always. Thank you and congratulations.
May 28th, 2013. Host, Braille Institute of Los Angeles.